Hi, today I'm going to offer you this free lesson. This is an article, a blog post from Yahoo, and the customer emailed us this link, and I appreciate very much because I took a look at the video on the blog post, and in fact it illustrates, it exemplifies very much the way of thinking in the United States among retail investors at the moment. Here you have one retail investor, and it is a kind of interview, and this individual, we consider him one of the great examples of the scams that they are going on in the US stock market. So if you play the video, the first thing that you notice at the guy says that the market, the stock market, it is very difficult, the environment in the US. And I disagree entirely. I could not disagree more than precisely this sentence that the market in the US, it is very difficult. The market in the US, it is extraordinarily simple, it is very reliable, and one in fact can make a very large profits in the stock market regardless of the existing conditions, and one can in fact predict with an accuracy close to 100% the high of the day in stock, the low of the day, as well as in ETFs, and namely the broad market. So I disagree entirely with this affirmation that the US stock market, it is very difficult. Secondly, they refer to the fact that investors' sentiment, it is the highest since 2003, having a neutral sentiment. Thirdly, he says that it has been quite difficult, complicated, and he prefers to be an individual stock picker. And he mentions the case in Twitter that we are going to address in a few minutes. And he also says that he, having in mind the difficulty of the US stock market, the current environment conditions, he suggests one to trade or invest in ETFs to avoid the volatility, the existing volatility in stocks, namely in the US stock market. And what my comments about this is one of the greatest scams that I've ever heard in precisely among US investors. And this video is so good because it illustrates their mentality. They are so stupid, the herd, because this video illustrates, exemplifies the way the herd, the mentality, it is the way they invest in the stock market, the stupidity behind the American investors, where they cannot see that the fact in the higher volatility it is, the better in fact it is for the professional investor, for the trader, and even for the common investor that has a methodology, and the volatility, the higher it is, the better it is for one to make considerable profits in the stock market. So we are going to exemplify that not only with the case in Twitter, and obviously is talking about Twitter because this is a scam retail investor, an American scam retail investor, that he lost the opportunity, the lifetime opportunity that we have been addressing in our blog and the case studies of investing in Twitter, the bubble, to make a vast fortune in the US stock market, precisely investing against the crowd. And if you want to know more about Twitter, how to invest in Twitter, you find it in our video portal. Since IPO, I described every single major move in Twitter. And this includes the fact that every single day I announce what is the target for the day on the high hand and the target for the day on long hand. And this is not valid only for Twitter, it is valid for basically 100 stocks and ETFs in the stock market. And for example, it also includes this one, Tesla Motors, that has been one top priority here in the service. A strong sell since 257. The stock trades at 179.5, where no one was considering just a couple of months ago that the stock would be trading today at these prices except ourselves. We made this call, we recorded live these calls with very specific price targets, with very specific recommendations, and therefore we disagree entirely with these scam retail investors in the US when they say that it is necessary to be lucky, that luck it is important to be profitable in the US stock market. And this is precisely, I repeat, exemplifies the scam that you currently have on TV, on these main websites that most people are frequently visiting. And this is also good news for us, very good news, where these scam investors, they were invested in Tesla Motors, a stock that I addressed a couple of months ago when I published a free lesson that is available on YouTube, where small investors can search for help. In that free lesson on YouTube, I addressed precisely the example of one of the biggest or largest US investment houses, that at that time they came out with reports saying that Tesla Motors could be a stock trading above $400. And that report came precisely when the stock was near the top. And our guidelines, they're very simple. The question here, in fact, it is, or it should be completely the opposite of what these individuals are addressing. That is, how is it possible, one, to lose money in the stock market under current market conditions? That should be the question that everyone should be addressing, and not the opposite, that is, the current market conditions are very difficult for one to make profits, because that is the greatest scam that I ever heard about, probably the past 5 years or so. How is possible one to in fact lose money in the US stock market when you have all these great and lifetime opportunities, in fact, like I addressed in March 2009, when everyone was on the street saying that the market was about to collapse forever for the next 20 years and so on, and you had a very lifetime opportunities to invest in stock market in more than 100 stocks at bear market prices. How is possible that one in 2014, these idiots in the US, they came out saying that the conditions in the US stock market, they are now extraordinarily difficult? I mean, these are the same individuals that likely in 2009, in March 2009, they were saying that the volatility was extraordinarily high, and therefore, because it was extraordinarily high, one could not make profits in the US stock market, so it will be preferable to stay out. And these are the same individuals that for years, they have never predicted that you had in fact lifetime opportunities to invest in the US stock market with companies that I addressed here, the names like Halliburton, Schlumberger's, and Netflix, and so on, stocks that they gained, Chipotle, stocks they gained 1,000%. But in 2014, what I see in the US stock market continues to be the same situation as in 2013, 2012, 2011, 2010, and 2009. And before, there are terrific opportunities to make very large profits in the US stock market. And the fact that the volatility has been quite high, which is not true, I repeat, it should not be seen as a threat, but rather as a great opportunity, because that has been precisely the case. And when these individuals, they came out and say that it's impossible to predict stock prices, and he refers to the case of Twitter, again, I understand his affirmation, because the fool, and that is the adjective that we have to use here, the fool, when we ask whether this stupid American retail investor, how much did he make by selling short Twitter or investing on the short side in Twitter, probably 1,000% or the entire account, that is precisely what he should have done. The individual, if he has to show his trading statements, he will not ever be able to show any profit whatsoever. And it is precisely this scam of individuals, this sort of individuals, that is unable, or it will ever be unable, to double or to triple their accounts within 1 week. Because they can't, because precisely what they need to make a profit in the US stock market is games. And games, my friends, we are experts in describing the game played on its stock. So these are the individuals that they need to sell their own ideas, that stock ABC is going to do what they consider that is going to do, and that is the reason why they are on TV and they are not trading. Because if they were trading, if they were making money in the stock market, I'm certain, 100% certain, or 1,000% certain that the individual will not be there on TV, because he would be missing money by trading. Okay, so why the individual is on TV or giving an interview? That should be your first question. Because the individual, his business, in fact, is a salesman, is a snake salesman, is a scam. And as a scam, he comes on TV saying it is impossible to predict stock prices. It is, I'm very unfortunate in Twitter. I'm, an individual stock picker. I don't look at the overall market. And I mean, what I'm saying is that what the guy is saying is every single sentence that the guy said during the interview, it is the opposite of what a professional investor should do. Because in fact you have to look at what the overall market is doing to understand what the ETFs are doing, precisely to make the most in individual stocks. And what the guy is saying is, I look at individual stocks, I don't tend to look at the overall market. The ETFs, I suggest you to invest or to trade ETFs, because you then are going to avoid the volatility inherent to or implicit in some stock moves. And why to trade? The question is, the guy, what the guy is not saying, and what he should be saying, is that ETFs are only for professional investors and never for the retail or for the common investor. ETFs are an instrument that is absolutely forbidden, according to our methodology, for the common investor to trade or to get involved in, because you can lose entirely your account. You can lose entirely your account when the guy says that it is very simple to get wrong in a stock. And by getting wrong, you can then incur in a large loss. My friend, I'm sorry, it is by far more difficult, and it is in fact the opposite of what you are saying. It is by far more difficult to trade ETFs rather than stocks. So what the guy during the interview, he said, in every single sentence, I repeat, in fucking every single sentence, it is the opposite of what in fact one should be considered to be a successful investor. So this interview, it exemplifies the mentality, the stupidity behind most American investors, that they think that they have precisely the same reasoning and they follow this practice. So we have to be we are in fact very lucky to have this environment where we have millions of them following these principles, and the more they follow, in the sense that this mentality, it is precisely the definition of the crowd. The more we have sheep and idiots following precisely this reasoning, the same that the guy describes, this idiot describes during this interview, the better it is. Because while every single one of them thinks have a similar reasoning and therefore similar actions, we have the opportunity to continue making what I normally call as unlimited profits, in the sense of zero risk. And you can see that precisely happening here, not only in Tesla Motors, as in every single stock that I been addressing in the US stock market. So why I'm publishing this is not to say that what we have been doing here, it is great and this and that, my friends, because no one can show what we have shown in the past 20 years in terms of track record, and it is there recorded live, you understand? So what I'm saying this precisely to illustrate and to help the small investor that what the guy he has been saying here, it exemplifies the mentality of the herd, and what you should do, in fact, it is every day, it is precisely the opposite of what this guy is doing. And for example, today you have Tesla Motors, okay, right now is 178.60 cents, and I can prove to you, not only myself as well as those that do subscribe to the service, that today I sent SMS in real time saying that, you know, the target for the day in Tesla Motors on the upside, it is this price, and that price proved to be so far the upside on the stock, that was so far that $183. So now let's say that you sold short Tesla Motors intraday 10,000 shares near the $183. So intraday, in a matter of less than half an hour, since I've been speaking, you made basically $35,000, right? In fact, more. Basically 45,000 US dollars, and this without any risk whatsoever, because I informed you, SMS trading alert 183, and the stock that yesterday was testing 178.5, today 183, the stock in less than half hour plunged to 178.5 once again. And we have been doing this, my friends. If you want to know how to invest in Tesla Motors, or in Twitter that also addressed today, Twitter that today it is 32 and 55, this is the current price. I mean, all these stocks, they are very reliable, they are simple to trade. So someone that says that the stocks are not reliable, the stock market that is not reliable, that you need to be lucky to trade in, invest in the stock market, or to be successful in trading or investing in the market, it is a scam. Okay, the stock market, it is in fact reliable. All these stocks are very reliable. If they were not reliable, we will not make all these calls intraday and daily, continuously, weekly and monthly and so on, since IPO, in stocks that they don't have any history whatsoever, as it was the case with Twitter here. And this ETF that is the Qs that represent the tech sector, it is also very reliable, but you are not going to make the same amount of money trading the Qs, that is one of the ETFs, the existing ETFs in the market, for example, compared to what you can make in Tesla Motors, because in Tesla Motors obviously you have more volatility, so you have the opportunity to make very large profits compared to the profits that you make in ETFs. And what the guy is saying is, no, you should go to ETFs, you should be in ETFs, because the volatility there, it is more like, predictable, or it is not so high, or blah, blah, blah. And it, in fact, should be the opposite. You should be in individual stocks, and you should be controlling or understanding what is happening in the ETFs in order to make the most by understanding the correlation between all these. And this is not about only ETFs, but about then stocks, and I'm not referring to Tesla Motors probably, but also I'm then referring, or Twitter, I'm referring to what is happening in the other market sectors. So when you have someone like this individual, again, that I repeat, exemplifies the mentality of the US stock investor, the retail investor, the crowd, in fact. What you have to do to be a successful investor, it is precisely the opposite, because every single sentence that the guy mentioned during the interview, it corresponds to a great scam. Everything that the guy said, it is wrong. So it is amazing. So I have to be appreciated to the customer that they sent this link to this video, and I'm recording this live, in fact, during market hours, because this is a lesson. You should not ever do or follow the reasoning of these individuals that they have no fucking clue whatsoever what the stock market is going to do. But that does not mean that there are no persons that they don't know what the market or the stocks they are going to do. Okay, because that is untrue, that is fake, it is false. So I can prove that one can predict precisely all these prices and to make very large profits in a short-term time frame. And the guy feels stupid, obviously, because he was unable to predict a stock crash in Twitter when I said already in December 2013 that his stock was one of the best stocks ever to sell short, a bubble, the definition of a bubble. It was the case in Twitter, that is a bubble stock, okay? And so the guy is so stupid that his objective was to buy Twitter, okay? He's going to buy Twitter for what? So he's going to buy Twitter for $50, for the stock to go to $100. So he's going to buy Twitter. You only buy Twitter after you made the most on the short side. You understand? So these individuals, they don't have any sense of a methodology in terms of investment. If you wanted to be an investor in Twitter for the future, in the first place, like I demonstrated, like I proved, like I explained in the past, you had to bet on the collapse, on the crash. And that included the case in Facebook, the IPO, the $37 all the way down to that price that then I traded Facebook to strong buy at $18 to $19.70. That is completely different, but someone that has been out of Twitter, not making any money on the short side, it is a completely fool, it is an idiot in a stock, in a bubble stock that had to crash. So the objective of an investor, professional investor, has to be, I'm going to make first, even if I want to buy Twitter for the future, first I'm going to make the most on the short side in Twitter, because the stock is going to fucking crash, it's a bubble, and then I buy Twitter. Alright? And in Tesla Motors, the idiot, obviously, he cannot ever prove that he called the top an important one in Tesla Motors at 257, because at that time he was likely bullish, saying that Tesla Motors could go much higher. And again, I repeat, even if he didn't say that, he was unable to profit the most, to make the most on the short side in Tesla Motors all the way down to current prices. So my friends, you understand? So this guy cannot look at the tape and cannot say today the target price on the upside in Tesla Motors is $183, as I said. Okay? And in a matter of an hour, the guy makes $600,000 or $120,000 without any risk whatsoever. They cannot do this, okay? And we do this every single day, all right? And that is the huge difference between what we do and what all these scam investors in the US, they call luck. Luck because they cannot do it. I mean, do you understand? This is such a great scam that it is fun. These are the same individuals, in fact, that they probably believe that the only country in the world or the only city in the world you can see a UFO is in New York. I mean, they see UFOs at night. They believe that the bodyguard of the Obama is alien and stuff like that you see on the YouTube, on the internet. I mean, these are individuals that they are proven to be the scam of the world. They are stupid. And what you have to do, I'm not saying that they only exist in the US, they exist everywhere, but this is the definition of a crowd. And what you have to do is precisely the opposite. So my friends, between that $183 today in Tesla Motors, all the way down to $177.5, that is a new low compared to yesterday, you made what much you made? 50, 60, whatever you want. $1,000. You understand? $1,000, because the more you make, the more you can make, and volatility is good, and it is not bad as these motherfuckers are saying. It is good. The higher volatility you have, the better it is, because the more profits you can make. It's not like these motherfuckers that they say, oh, my friend, volatility is very high, the market conditions were very difficult, and all this stuff, and blah, blah, blah. Oh, my friend, please. I mean, you should be, these guys, they should be ashamed, in fact, of coming, and who is responsible for this? Well, in my opinion, it is Yahoo scam website, where most of them, they are then typing and, on message boards and all that stuff, making jokes and, arguing with others that they have a different opinion. And what you have to do is precisely the opposite. Forget about fucking message boards, forget about Yahoo, forget about those scam sites in the US. Concentrate on what really matters and make the most. Because what the other fucking motherfuckers are doing, the crowd, does not matter at all. You have to do the opposite, you see? And by doing the opposite, you are going to be a millionaire. And you can be a millionaire if you have the capital to do it. You can be this in less than 1 month, my friends. You just have to follow the guidelines. And in Tesla Motors, I can show you ahead of earnings announcement, calling this stock a great short opportunity, $210. If you wanted to sell short a couple of months ago at 237, the stock was a great short. 257 to sell short the most. And today you have the stock at 177. But what else do you want? You see, I mean, this, when you look at people that, they are saying stock market's very complicated, and this and that, No, it's not complicated, it is simple. What the stupid is, they consider that this is complicated because they invent excuses and arguments for whatever their, problems are, okay? So what you have to do, I repeat, is the opposite. And you have to be, in fact, very appreciated. I'm very appreciated for these guys to come out on TV, on these scam websites, and so on. Because, I mean, the more we have like them, thinking or sharing the same reasoning, the better it is for all us, okay? So, thank you and congratulations today for a very large profit in Tesla Motors from 183 all the way down to 177. Thank you. Bye. And by the way, don't forget other great call also intraday in Twitter, and this was also at 3305.